It's Tuesday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Tokwe Mark Adige, and with me my co-host, Auntie Annie. Good to see you today. We're ready to get
Good morning.
Yeah.
Yes, so I went for my massage.
Yes, finally.
Finally.
And
It was really nice, very long and relaxing. I even fell asleep. I was snoring.
oh wow.
The woman said, you are very tired. I said, yes. So I even booked another session because it was quite good and I really needed.
That's at the Happiness Center.
So thank you, ladies, for my massage. And the rest are not here, but thank you.
I have not gone for my own.
Thank you. You have not gone for your own. Well, I wasn't. They wanted me to be doing procrastination with them. And we will go this Saturday. Just said, well, let me leave these ones. When they are ready, they will go.
It will soon expire.
My mom, it was about to expire. Shebi is 3 months. So I said, let me quickly take the book. And Ronke, it's nice to meet you.
Good to see you,
Yesterday was
YK.
Ronke's birthday. Happy birthday.
Thank you so much. Thank you
Yeah,
so
go,
much.
go.
Yes, I am. Yesterday was big. I mean, those children decided to surprise me. Yes, they actually opened a separate WhatsApp platform.
And
began,
planned.
yeah, they started dropping money.
That's
I
sweet.
got my husband involved, got some teachers. And, you know, it was just big. I'm so grateful to God. Yesterday was another very tough one because they kept telling me, hey, this is what you did so many years ago. This is what you did. But it was good, you
How
know.
old
I
were
had
you
a good time.
Yesterday?
Auntie Annie, you
Did she say she didn't want to tell me? Let her say no. I don't say my age in public. Then I will leave it.
I will tell you.
private.
Privately.
I promise to tell you.
Maryam.
Yeah. I'm good. I was in Asaba for the weekend. I went with the children. We had so much fun. We went to the leisure park. Beautiful place.
Wow.
I mean, the lake, the zoo. I took lots of
Really?
pictures and videos. Then went off to Agbo, to the water park. My God, I was like a 5-year-old. I was everywhere, jumping in the water. I did the slides.
Really?
I
Please,
did.
give
Oh
me the
my
pictures.
God, I will. It was so much. My husband did like this. Was like, who is this?
Yes,
He
what's
was like,
going
you
on?
have been deprived. I said, yes, I have. I was just happy to be away and just be free of all responsibilities.
I can imagine.
It was a good time. Had a good
So
time.
they
And
have places like that there.
in Asaba, it's a beautiful place. At least the side that I saw, very lovely, very lovely. The children had so much fun. It's a modern town. It's a city as far as I'm concerned. I mean, if you're comparing it to Jos.
Yeah.
But it's without the hustle of Lagos. Do you understand? It's clean.
The Asaba or Agbo.
Asaba.
Okay.
So it's clean. There's everything you want. You know, there's
Please let me see
regular
the
malls and
pictures,
stuff.
though.
Yeah, you will. It's lovely.
Did
Very
you post them on Instagram?
She has
Not
not
yet.
posted though. Don't mind her.
I'll
Because
see
me, I
them
was
too.
monitoring. I just saw
Oh my
something
goodness.
said that
So
was
you are a
Instagram
monitoring
story.
spirit.
When I saw the Instagram
Which kind of
story,
monitoring spirit
I
are you?
wonder when
I
you're
didn't
right
know she
there
went
with
to
me.
Asaba.
I'm a positive monitoring. No,
didn't
Maryam is private, and I've learned. You know, when you build relationship with people, you understand them, and you don't impose your will on them. You wait until like.
They're
So I
ready.
know, I'm learning.
So we're on a queue. Would like to see it.
Yes, many of us. All right, guys. Every Thursday we get to talk about people's life stories and all of that, and sometimes those stories are extremely shocking. Your stories might seem overwhelming to you, but other people have gone through it, and they are probably able to advise or guide or share some lessons that you're able to pick from. So please don't forget to send us your stories, mind-boggling, worrisome, whatever you've come out of it or you're still going through it, to us. And the email is right there on the screen, yourview@tvcommunications.tv, and we'll break it down on Thursday. We'll take a quick break now. When we return, we'll go through the front pages of the paper. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're starting front page review today with The Nation. Major headline, Tinubu targets economic revival, 50 million jobs in 3 years. And you can't miss the picture. There are two pictures on the front page today. One picture shows the president and the secretary to the government, that's Akume, the vice president as well, at the inaugural FEC meeting. That's the Federal Executive Council meeting at the Presidential Villa in Abuja yesterday. And another picture shows the chairman of Coronation Capital, Aiki Mokwede, as well as the governor of Lagos and president of Directors Board African Import Bank, that's Afrexim Bank Group, and also the group executive officer of Access Bank. Anyway, But the news, the story, Obasaki fires Shaibu's media aide as rift widens. Citigroup predicts rise in foreign investments. Sounds good for those thinking. Why we dropped Sanwo-Olu's nominees by Speaker. Federal government stops frivolous official trips at cost-saving in cost-saving measure. Cameroon's Lagdo Dam opening sparks fear in 13 flood-prone states. Federal government urges relocation from threatened area. And palliatives warehouse looted in Bayelsa. Osun secures stores. So, what did the speaker say? Who has the story of what the speaker said? Okay.
The speaker. He said that the House of Assembly has remained an independent body empowered by the Constitution, and they exercise this responsibility by clearing some and rejecting some. Saying that none of you, all of you people shouting, if you have problem, come to the House of Assembly and come and talk. But for now, they're not going to confirm the people that they haven't approved. He says there is no, he debunked the rumors that there is a problem between him and Governor Sanwo-Olu. He said it's pure performance, and he says why anytime we go, we say no to the governor's request. He says this is in his that anytime we say no to the governor's request, it becomes an issue, and the so-claimed enlightened conclude that we are fighting the governor. He said the House came up with many resolutions in the last 4 years, which the executive did not carry out. Nobody noticed that one. No. Now it's this one that we are all noticing. That's where he said they have their own rights. It's their constitutional responsibility, and they have exercised this. He said they are saying. They are sacking all the technocrats. That who is not a technocrat? That they too, they are technocrats. Political technocrats.
I watched the video and I was like...
Oh, you watched the video?
I watched the video. Don't worry, the video was interesting. But you know, a lot of our politicians would say, there's no rift, we're not fighting, we're just doing our work. In that same, we've been hearing there's no rift, there's no fight between Edo State governor and his deputy. The deputy has come out to say, I'm very loyal to the governor. Me, I don't have any problem. I can be loyal to the governor and still have a political ambition to become governor. Yeah. It does not mean I'm not loyal. Well, at the colloquium that the governor of Edo State, Obaseki, did to celebrate 60 years of the referendum, which Way Midwest, that's the name of the occasion, the deputy governor came with his media aide, and according to what the nation carried, there was the media aide of the deputy governor were attacked by the governor's security aide, and that fracas that happened at the event, subsequently later that same day, the entire media aide attached to the deputy governor were disbanded. Wow. So the correspondent, the nation correspondent was confirming the fact that the governor's chief press secretary, just, you know, after the drama at the venue, at the event, they decided that they sacked the aides, and they said he was following the directive from the governor after the issue at the venue of that occasion. But, you know, like they still said, I will quote them again, there is no rift.
Anyway, yes, there's no rift here as well, because our president has directed the reduction in the number of federal government officials that attend foreign events on government sponsorship. This is by his special advisor on media and publicity, Ajuri Ngalale. So they said the president has ordered a reduction in the number of government officials that participate in foreign trips to enable this administration save costs in the cause of governance. And it's going to start with the United Nations General Assembly that is to take place in September. They said that this directive, they're warning that that this directive be implemented by various MDAs, ministries, departments, and agencies, and that wherever it is discovered that this directive has not been followed, necessary actions will be taken during the final verification process. So this is a huge deal. Like, this is not something that they're expecting you to try and go around, because if you're found out, you face the consequences. And the president says that he wishes to affirm that henceforth government officials and government expenditure must reflect the prudence and sacrifice being made by well-meaning Nigerians across the nation. The statement says. So it's,
The
you know,
president is saying all the right
yes,
things.
he's saying the right things, because this is what Nigerians have asked. You've asked us to tighten our belts. In what way are you doing this? And so this is one way that we can say we've seen. So we'll see who dares to, you know, circumvent this direction.
I didn't catch it. I was listening to the news, Kenny, on the radio this morning. One paper, some of the governors, some have employed 500 aides, 500. One, I think Kanu is 90-something.
But you know they are independent, so whatever the president is doing is different from
I know. I'm just saying,
Or maybe if the president said
while they're trying to tighten it from the top,
it might flow down. We're hoping it flows down.
The
The next
governors, the
level.
only states, I think,
96.
okay, I think not Imo State, or one of those states has only 43 aides. And then the governor, Lagos State, has said that they will employ aides from the ministry. Civil servants will be, which is a good thing. They're not going to go out
and
start looking for aides.
Speaking about the president saying important things, so he has promised 50 million jobs in 3 years. He's targeting economic revival. So the story starts from a beautiful point. It says, just like cynics will say that, you know, it's been promises and promises. He's saying that now, for us to move further, we must go back and have homegrown re-engineering of our service delivery. So it's not like a promise without a deadline and without a process.
There's a 3-year timeline.
There's a 3-year timeline, and then there's a specific way to achieve this, which would be, so it's like an order to the ministers, not just an open statement.
Fantastic. Let's move on to the Punch. I'll just read the headlines. FECOM falls 3-year economic revival plan. Tinubu wants ministers to achieve the first phase of Tinubu's 8-point agenda within 3 years. Cameroon dam flood to hit states in 7 days. That's from federal government. The Nigerian Bureau of Statistics kicks as ex-statistician faults the ex-statistician general faults new employment data. Extractive firm underpaid. That's $10 billion in taxes, royalties. That's from Neiti. Abiodun diverted local government allocation, 10 billion naira bailout, council bosses allege. Tenants bite off neighbor's ear over electricity bill, and NLC FMBN clash over 238 billion national housing funds. Wow. Okay, so we'll just take one story before.
Can I take the human interests?
Yeah.
Okay. The tenants who chopped off her bits of her neighbor's ear. Apparently, she's a 39-year-old female tenant, Okpe Uluwa Aguru, and she bit off the ear of Olorun Tofumi for Olorun Show. Apparently, they got disconnected. I think they're all tenants in the house, and they got disconnected. So someone directed the Olorun Tofumi to go around collecting 500 naira from the tenants so that they could reconnect themselves. And when he got to her, they started fighting. Apparently, they had the problem already. They started fighting. They started abusing themselves. The next thing, she just dragged him and bit off.
Like chopped off.
According to an eyewitness, says he dragged him and bit off his ear. And they had to.
Is the human teeth that sharp?
I'm hoping that maybe it was just
a bit of
the ear, maybe not the, because I don't know how you can bite off the whole ear.
I don't know what anger can do.
Yeah.
I don't know what anger can do. Let's take a break. When we return, we'll still be reviewing the front page of the paper. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still reviewing the front pages of the papers, and we are talking the talking points in Punch. That's where we are.
So I have this story from Ogun State. This is a juicy story, and I think everyone should read it for themselves. I'll just try and take bits and pieces of it. So the chairman of Ijebu East local government area has written a letter to former governor Chief Olusegun or Shoba, right, of Ogun State. And in the letter, he's talking about how the current governor is accusing the current governor of diverting the statutory federation allocation due to state local governments in the last 2 years. He says that he alleges that over 10.8 billion naira fund of the Shopee was diverted by the governor. He's also claiming that 10% of the state's internally generated revenue, which Constitution stipulates should go to local government, has not been given since the current governor got into office. He says that he's attributing the diversions of funds as a key reason for the APC loss in some of the councils in the last general election. So he's asking former Governor Shoba to talk to the current governor and advise him on how this will negatively impact on the state and impact on everything that he's doing. He goes ahead to say that in Ijebu East local government, our people need roads, especially in the interior. They need water. Health centers are nothing to write home about. The primary schools are something else. It's a crying shame that in 2023, some of our people still depend on water from the stream to drink. Great Owl provided pipe-borne water almost 60 years ago. The report says that they're trying to, they reached out to the governor's people, but they haven't received a statement yet, although they said that they were going to give something. But it is well laid out. He gave figures and numbers and how he thinks these funds were diverted. So it's good.
It's public knowledge whenever the funds are released. So.
Because he had said that the Commissioner of Finance, Mr. Dakpo Okunbadejo, had said that the commissioner claimed that 20 local governments were owing the Ogun State government 17 billion, which they continue to deduct. So apparently they're trying to say that is the money.
Why they were?
They are deducting the money. But he is saying they are not owing Abekuta 1 naira. Meanwhile, yesterday, I had to go and buy tipper for our cars spoiled. Go and
by yourself?
To go and fill the roads on
your street.
3 tipper. I bought, but still no, it didn't reach. I have to buy another one today. Maybe next week, if we gather small money again, I buy more.
What has happened to your letter that you sent?
When we took it to the local government.
It's not a hot topic. We're doing the front page. You gist us. We will give you time to gist it. Maybe you'd have done it during banter. Take your story.
Okay. Thank you, Tokwe. I have a story on page 17. It's the story on Cameroon Dam. That dam again, the Lagdo Dam. So the current Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, Dr. Betta Edu, has called on the Nigerian Governors Forum, trying to alert them to start to put measures in place because the dam will be opened in another 10 days, she says. So beyond the governors, she's also trying to encourage everyone to ensure drainages are well cleaned, ensure blockages are removed so that we don't suffer another major flood attack whenever that dam is open. Here in Nigeria, so many states to be affected. So she's calling out the governors to do something fast. Let's see how we have measures in place before the dam hits us and we're majorly affected.
So NLC and the Federal Mortgage Banks, they disagree over how the contributory mortgage that is being deducted from their account is being spent. According to there are disagreements between both of them. Both parties have been talking to each other, and the conversation is around the fact that the initiative is not fulfilling what it's meant to, which is the federal government created this initiative to ensure that Nigerians have access to affordable homes, and that is not happening. Contributions are being made, but the result is not bringing affordable homes to the people that are making those contributions. Whether the fault is now with the Federal Mortgage Bank or there are ways they could have put pressure on other organizations that are affiliated to ensure that we crash the prices of houses. The point is we really have a challenge in our housing, and the sooner we resolve the issue of mortgage, the faster we would allow Nigerians to have access to housing. Moving on to Daily Sun, major headline, Tinubu reads riot act to ministers. I'll not spare incompetent officials, vowed the president. In other news, we've taken the story about Obaseki and Shaibu's feud getting messier as Deputy Governor's media aid were disbanded. Lagdo Dam, we just took that story. 5 billion naira palliatives. Ex-agitators threaten protest in Niger Delta over governor's inaction. And back to unveil $2.1 billion project pipeline as Enugu holds investment roundtable. Iborove Obovori, Obaseki, Oshemole, others chart path for Niger Delta development growth. KPMG dims Nigeria's growth prospect forecast to 2.65%. Federal government prunes list of delegation to UNGA, that's the United Nations General Assembly, orders non-inclusion of officials without role. And addressing national security challenges, collective responsibility, says Ribadu. Federal government evacuates 298 Nigerians, irregular migrants freed from Libyan detention. So what story are we going with? The detention in Libya? Who has that story?
I didn't get Sun at all, so I didn't read any story in Sun.
So the federal government says, with the support of the International Organization for Migration, evacuated 298 Nigerian irregular migrants. They were freed from many detention centers across Libya. So NEMA says a total of 298 stranded Nigerians direct from Libyan prisons were repatriated back into the country in 2 separate chartered flights within the week. And, you know, NEMA is just also giving us numbers. They say the flights came in with 161 returnees, 21st of August, that's this year, and then while the flight 137 returnees arrived on Monday. Yeah. Women have spent varying periods in various detection camps in the troubled northern Africa. A profile of the returnees indicate that 119 adult females, mostly pregnant, 3 female children, 2 female infants were among the returnees, while 170 adult males, 3 male children, and 1 male infant completed a total of 298 brought back.
So sad. We shouldn't be having this kind of reports. Do you have the story on the UN General Assembly?
I actually have. I took that same story.
Oh.
Because I'm wondering, is there no law that protects or any law that serves as a deterrent? Because we hear this Libya thing every year. I'm not sure in the last 4 years, there hasn't been a year that they didn't evacuate people from Libya here.
It's not about we have laws.
People are desperate about how to leave what they feel is a more horrible condition.
Yeah. You know, so they get caught in the, you know, before, when Gaddafi was still there, I think that place was like a safe haven for them because Libya was run so well.
So Libya is not the destination, it's just...
It's not really the
transit.
destination.
It's the transit, okay, okay.
All right, so there's a story that caught my attention. 5 billion naira palliative. Ex-agitators within Niger Delta are protesting that the governors haven't acted on how they are going to spend or disburse the money. These former agitators are under the coalition of ex-agitators of Niger Delta. They said the governor seems to have diverted the money that was released by the president to alleviate the sufferings. The chairman of this group is Nkpako Buhari Gbodo, at a press meeting in Rivers State, and he said, where is our palliative? He's querying that there's no deliberate program that the governor is providing, targeting reliefs to the people. He also said it's compelling that the governor releases the money before the governor experiences, according to him, the mother of all protests across the states. It will no longer be business as usual. According to him, the people are suffering, and they are going to speak up for the people of the state, that's Rivers State. They are quoting the fact that they can see what the Borno State governor is doing for his people, and the entire region is quiet, that they can see what other governors are also doing or saying they will do, but they haven't heard anything from their own governor, and they are waiting to see how the governor intends to spend the 5 billion palliative. Moving on to Vanguard, major headline. First FEC meeting, of course, we've been discussing what happened. The first FEC meeting was a it was full of a lot of drama, not really drama, statements that are good ideas, statements that support what we want to achieve as a country, the things we want to hear from FEC meeting going forward. And in other news, KPMG downgrades Nigeria's growth, which is sad. Obi will soon be declared Nigeria's president. That's from Abuare. He's telling Nigerians in the United States. Kwara Commissioner of Police declares man who threatened traditionalist, a wanted terrorist, will manage the release of water from Lagdo Dam. That's from the federal government. Cabinet no going back on rejection of 17 commissioners. That's from Lagos State. No NYSC law stops core members from becoming ministers, but ambassador to leave Name. Investors losing confidence in economy under Tinubu. That's from PDP. And the Midwest and the drama that happened. So, do we have any story in Vanguard?
I have a story.
85% Nigerian graduates? Is it?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I have a story on the train. The MD of the NRC, Nigerian Railway Corporation, who is set to face disciplinary actions over the operation. So the story talks about a twist around alleged mismanagement and operational discrepancies on the highly popular Abuja-Kaduna train service. I mean, that thing was celebrated so much. It has taken a lot of investment, and now we are talking about operational mismanagement. Why?
Because we, the people,
my
are not doing our
Nigeria.
jobs. Yeah.
Why?
Tribune had two major stories that we can't get to, that 85% of Nigerian graduates have no digital skill. 85% is a worrisome number. What reports had that, Maryam?
Yes, so they're saying that more than 85% of Nigerian graduates have no digital skill. There was a survey that was done and called Get Bundis, an online education technology outfit. So I just try and read as important bits of it because it's quite a long story. It says that 100 million young people are not prepared to take up, that's Nigeria, are not prepared to take up good job opportunities required, that requires these modern skills. There's an overwhelming digital gap that has been linked to high unemployment rates in Nigeria.
I'm happy that we have a new minister that covers the digital economy, and we're hoping that...
So they said 100 NYC members showed that only 19 of them had any form of digital skill. It says, yes, many of them are on social media, but proper digital skills.
Monetizable
those
skills
that even have the digital skills is maybe Microsoft Excel and basic knowledge, but all that they need. But they do not put the blame only on the kids, but
social media skill that they have. They don't have the real
core skills that can
will
monetize.
make them money.
So maybe we need to shout it out.
Definitely. Yeah. The information is out there, and I'm sure that the relevant people will take it up and act on it. That's what we can take on Front Page Review for today. When we return, we have a special segment. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. Hot topic today is the hottest topic in Lagos, which is the viral video of the Lagos State House of Assembly Speaker, and I'd like to show you what he said, and then we'll talk about it after.
Recording of official list of nominees for appointment as commissioners and special advisors.
It all started on the 3rd of August when 39 names of commissioner nominees were forwarded to the lawmakers by Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu for approval. The list was immediately faulted by some of the lawmakers who shared their reservations at the plenary, which had the Speaker pleading for the lawmakers' understanding, asking that the detailed information about the nominees be sent to the House to aid its legislative assignment. A 12-man ad hoc committee headed by the Chief Whip of the House, Fatai Mojid, was set up to begin the screening of the nominees, an exercise that lasted 4 days. At the plenary on Wednesday, the 23rd of August, the report of the ad hoc committee was presented to the House, after which 22 of the 39 names of commissioner nominees forwarded to it for approval were confirmed. 17 others were rejected. Nominees like Akin Abayomi, a former commissioner for health in the state, were among names that were disqualified by the lawmakers. This unprecedented move has got many talking, raising the issue of possible face-off between the two arms of government. The Speaker of the House, Mudashiru Obasa, has a response to these insinuations.
We are placing politics ahead of technocrats. What technocrats? What do you mean about technocrats? Who is not technocrat in these hollow chambers? Before them, we have many people. They talk about Dr. Akin Abayomi, a gentleman, which who happens to be a colleague also in serving the people. But before him, we have Leke Pito, we have Dr. Idris, we have many of them. Before COVID, which happened to be an isolated case, we have Ebola, which was also taken care of under Fashola. It's not about qualification. It's not about your experience. It's not about exposure. We are the representative of the people, the mouthpiece, the ears, and the sights of the people. So we know what we look for. We talk about Aramide, the commissioner for what? Before him, we did Ikoyi, Victoria Island Link Bridge under Fashola, when the current deputy governor, Amsa, was the commissioner for works. The House, as a body, restrained itself from exposing what we discovered during the screening exercise. So we are not going to be forced to spill.
With recent developments, the fate of the 17 rejected commissioner nominees still hang in the balance. Abimbola Agbebi, TVC News, Lagos.
So, Abimbola has given us a bit of perspective, but the conversation we're trying to have is because before the video, there was a lot of speculation because people didn't understand why the rejection took place. We recall the first feedback the Lagosians got concerning the list of commissioner was that it was a largely Christian, the number of Christians outweigh the number of Muslims. Then the next thing was the fact that there was a challenge of the fact that they were largely another set of technocrats that did not have zero political base or zero political contribution towards the election that just took place. Some House of Assembly members were asking they should have attached their local government areas, that some of these politicians, some of these nominees are not even known in their wards. Their local government, nobody knows about them. So all that conversation came up before the actual voting. And at the point of voting, there was 22 people were approved, 17 people were disqualified. And there's now been like, it's actually a personal, yes, that is, people were not alleging it's a personal thing between the governor and the speaker. It's a power tussle, it's a rift. YK, we've been following the story briefly about when the list of commissioners came out. What shocked you and what was your first reaction when you now watched the video of the response by the speaker?
First of all, what shocked me is, I mean, I can hear if you say you reject 3 of the nominees, that sounds, but 17, that's 40% of what the governor sent. And you are expecting us to believe that there is no rift. If, true, there is no rift, I think you owe it, yes. Because he said in his speech, in his
video,
in this video now, he just now saying that they are representing the people. So that means you owe it to the people to explain why you rejected 17. If there is anything that we are supposed to know, you are representatives, you need to tell us what we need to know. Because I read in the papers, he said we should come there. If we go there, they will tell us to queue. How many of us are going to go there? Say if the whole, not 20 million people, 10 million only of Lagosians go there, will they answer us to tell us why you rejected 17 people from the governor? The governor has not commented, has not said a word since then, he has not even given another list. I mean, there has to be an explanation.
Is this explanation not, was it, Maryam?
Is this
what
an
do you think?
explanation?
Yeah. Okay, so for me, I was waiting for an explanation. And from what I hear, there's still holes in the explanation. Because there's something that stood out for me when he said it's not about experience, qualification, or exposure.
Okay.
What is it about? If it is not about experience, if it is not about qualification, if it's not about exposure,
Then
what then is it about? Is it just about politics? And why can't politics be a combination of politicking and experience and qualification and exposure? In the papers, it says that that they're trying to almost, hold the party together, that or else they would have lost it completely. And that if there was no party, these people, would they have a party that they would be employed under? But the truth is, for me, the way I see political party, it has to be a combination of both. The technocrat, when a political party goes out campaigning, you campaign on what the people with exposure, experience, and qualifications have done. Not enough to say, we are this party and we are speaking to you.
But I think that he alluded to the fact that they have, but let me let you finish.
So if it's not about that, so what is more important than someone who has worked 4 years before and we have seen the benefits of being employed in that job, we have seen the positive impact of being on that job, then what is more important than someone whose qualification has led them to make such a huge impact in education, in health, in the Ministry of Works? What is more important? What is it in politics that is more important than that? If you also say that you're for the people, I know there are many reasons why people vote for a political party. It's not just the name of the party, it's also what the party has done. And also what some people will say, if not for this particular ministry or this particular commissioner, this particular work that was done, I wouldn't have, or I'm voting because I've seen the work they've done in education, I've seen the work they've done in health, I've seen the work they've done in this. So it's a combination. You cannot separate. When you start to separate the two and make it only about politics or about those who got numbers, then for me now, we are now treading on a very slippery slope.
So,
and it would not do
not
do the party or any party any good if we go along that route. That's fine.
I just want to say one more thing, because he seemed to trivialize what the
contributions that they have made.
Were there 4 years ago. Like we talked about Professor Abayomi, COVID is an isolated. It was an isolated case. COVID was not an isolated case. COVID lasted 8 months.
Okay, so but what he's saying is we also had Ebola and beyond COVID, because he mentioned that COVID, he did well. It was. I don't think it was necessarily trivializing what the previous commissioner of health did. He said, yes, COVID was that 8 months bubble, but beyond COVID, there is the everyday general hospitals in Lagos. There's the everyday performance of how those hospitals are being run, that are not just judge him based on COVID, which is isolated, and not judging based on the other things that have been going on. And before him, we've had good commissioners, and probably after him, we will still have good commissioners. So he's not saying that these people are bad. He's saying we've had good people before then, we would have good people after them.
No, for me, he's saying these people are bad. We've had people better than them before. And so based on
his interpretation,
if you're saying that we've had people before you who have done the work, the reason you have not been confirmed is because we do not believe you have done as well as those who have done before.
That's Maryam's interpretation.
Of course, is that not what your view is about?
That wasn't what I heard, but let me let
your view is about to say
we have a lot to say.
The way Maryam is feeling this thing.
Well, it's
want to understand it.
So I feel Maryam and probably so many other Lagosians will feel this way because of the comments made by the speaker. So I think he might have good intentions, but there's a huge issue with the way that was communicated. So if the former commissioners didn't do so well, why was it not communicated before now? Why are they on the nominees list? Why was there no formal communication? I mean, just like what YK said, if they are representing the people, then the people ought to know that, okay, this person did so. At the end of their tenure, as they were coming out, there should have been some kind of communication to give everybody some safe, to keep everybody in a safe place. Because now, those who were not curious before are now curious. So his speech has aroused everybody's curiosity, and more than ever before, it looks like there's a problem that he doesn't want to talk about.
Okay, so thank you for that. It has aroused everybody, because now people are starting to forget that they didn't But you have now reminded us that
so
17 people.
So
And then you are not telling us,
YK.
Hello.
we can't tell you.
No.
Oh.
He did not say that. He also mentioned, one of the things he mentioned was the fact that we have technocrats. We did not reject technocrats. We rejected people based on the feedback we've gotten. That this is not, that they shouldn't make it look, because the allegations that was coming out prior to his video explanation was that the State House of Assembly rejected people based on the fact that they were technocrats. And they said that's not it. That they rejected people based on the feedback they got from the people that they were representing about how well they did it. They did their job. And that's the...
I didn't hear that too.
No, he said that they were... He mentioned... let me quote it right before they will now come for me. One of the things he mentioned was the fact that it is not about being a technocrat. That was not the issue.
That
we are not. Yes, they are technocrats in the assembly.
Yes.
They are technocrats in the party. Yep. They are technocrats that have served before. So it is not. We're not speaking against them or not voting them because they are technocrats. There's more to it than that. Okay. That was clearly communicated. Another part of the communication was the fact that when you talk about the information, the Commissioner for Information, that there are lots of technocrats within the LTV. Okay. LTV, which is a state-owned media house. And that, if you're looking for technocrats, you can look within that area. Some commissioners have said that they will not, some states have said they will not even appoint commissioners. They'll be using people within the civil service system to work within that role.
It was this governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, that said it, said it in one of the papers today.
I have a question for you, YK.
This governor
I have a question for you, YK. No. It's a very, very valid. You know, I'm sitting on this, in this seat, I have to always see the other side of the point. So, do you believe that the silence of the governor is the right approach to deal with this situation? Do you think maybe the governor should have come out to say why he nominated his list, the reason for each person he picked, what they have done, so that there is a language from his own part listing their achievements? Not just silence, because so far what we've heard is...
The answer I will give you from there is, you know, if somebody attacks you in shock, and when your reaction in shock might be silence, you know, maybe, wait, you have a call, for about 2 weeks, you won't be able to talk, you just be looking at me.
As a governor, you cannot be reacting.
Maybe the governor is in shock.
YK, I'm so shocked. I can't believe that YK is defending the governor in terms of shock, because YK is always attacking everybody in politics.
This is not
a matter of, I'm not attacking, I'm not defending. I'm just saying he is probably in shock.
Moyo has called. Let's hear what Moyo has to say. Moyo, what's your... Oh, sorry, they said it's Kunle that has called into the show. Kunle, welcome to the show. Good morning. What's your reaction to the speech by the speaker?
Good morning. I'm very happy. I like the topic you guys are discussing this morning. And for the first time, I want to appreciate the House of Assembly members. They have done well. Okay. This last election has exposed a lot of things. We have been in Bariga over time. We are technocrats too. We have been working for the party. Okay. But you can't just go and bring somebody from America or whatever. They don't have certificates like us. A lot of them, they don't work as an expatriate even where they are coming from. And you just select them, this one for commissioner, this one for SH, this one for... Ooh. During the election, we didn't see any of them. We didn't see any of them, even to the grassroots level. You just bring people. We are pushing you for commissioner, we are pushing you for... Even in the grass, go and ask about them.
But Mr. Kunle...
we give it back to House of Assembly.
Let me ask you a question. Do you want a politician that has capacity to bring votes, or a technocrat that can deliver you good governance?
There are a lot of people that work in the politics too. There are technocrats, there are politicians too, that are working at the grassroots level, seeing people every day, relating with people every day. And yet they have this certificate, they are still working on their field, they are professionals. Use those people too. You can't go and bring somebody from Canada, from London, in the name of certificate, which people that are here who have more certificates.
Okay, so thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kunle, and I'm happy that Kunle is highlighting something that the speaker also mentioned in the a second video that I saw. Yes, no. He didn't say it's not by experience and qualification. He's saying this Kunle. I'm talking about Kunle. Kunle said that there are people within the party that are, that are qualified, that are technocrats, and are actively involved in politics. So, is it enough? Is political relevance a good enough reason, or lack of political relevance a good enough reason to qualify or disqualify? And I'm asking you, Maryam, because Maryam, Maryam is someone, I know you are fair, like you see the two sides and understand. Yes, but I know you will see the two sides. But do you feel like if you see this game is called politics?
Yes.
Is it enough to say that the lack of politics should take out a competent person, or we should say that let's find a way to look within the system and find someone that can still deliver?
See, we have discussed this, I think, at the federal level, and I have been of the opinion that, sometimes when people have worked to be part of a party, they are politicians as well as technocrats. It's good to give people who have been part of a cause, an opportunity to also get appointments and contribute in other ways. But I'm talking of a government that is coming back for a second term. I'm not talking of a fresh government. Exactly. We're not speaking of a fresh government. And we're talking of people that we can point out and say that they have done so well, that the works that they did was what you used as your campaign. As a party. Yeah, exactly. As part of your campaign. So what happened between the campaign? You listed these are the things. Look at what we did in Lagos State. These technocrats, these qualified people, these experienced people. So that's why it's coming across right now as if there is an issue. Because if we're talking of fresh people, I can understand, okay, you've never been part of a party. We don't even know what your contributions have ever been. And so
I'll take this call from Ade. He's called from London. After his call, we'll come to Ronke. Ade, welcome to the show. Good morning.
Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
If you observe it, when this list was sent to the State Assembly, I think about 3 days after, the Muslim in Lagos had a press conference and complained bitterly that there are few Muslims on that list. So when the speaker said he cannot say what happened, it's religious. I will tell you clearly. If you observe that list, all Muslims on that list are clear. Obasa is a Muslim. The deputy speaker is a Muslim. In Lagos State, so 90% are Muslim. In the federal,
Mr. Ade, this is a huge allegation. It's your view, but it's also an allegation because you're turning this into a religious conversation, and we understand how sensitive. I mentioned it because I understand it's valid, but I don't want us to make it look like it was a religious decision, because that is not a fact until there's proof to back it up. There can be some, you might allude to it based on what you are inferring, but it's not a fact.
Well,
we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll come to Ronke. Okay. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Welcome back to the show. It's been a very, very heated break. We've been discussing, and Ronke, we've been waiting to hear what Ronke has to say concerning this. Update.
So, Tokwe, I listened to the last caller who mentioned something about religion, and I feel, based on what the speaker said, he has left everybody speculating. Could it be religion? Could it be that they want maybe some advanced people who are not in the country? What about those who have been serving? And that has put all of us in the dark. So I think we have to, for us to become public, sit in a public space defending the people, we must understand that we owe it to the people to at least guide them with our words, guide them with our counsel, guide them with our instructions. We can't come up one day and say, I'm going to do this and I have my reasons and I can't say it. So that for me is still a concern. If he's not going to say it today, he might have to say it another time. And then to talk about the governor's silence, I love it.
Okay, how come you are liking the governor's silence, but you don't like the fact that the speaker did not tell you a bit of information that you want. So
Okay, so the governor's silence is, I mean, we can understand that he's reacting to what happened in the last administration. These people did well, so he's saying, okay, let's bring them again to do better. This time, maybe hold them more accountable. And then the speaker is saying, we're not taking these people, tell us why.
Honestly.
Well, I don't want
this place where I'm sitting down there is not helping matters at all.
I don't want my governor to be in a media war with the speaker.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want my governor to be able to take the time to come with a proper response. If there's a constitutional way to do it, if he has to go back and stand before the House or whatever it is that needs to be done. But I don't want to hear the speaker said this, the governor said this back. It will be too demeaning.
I think he's carrying himself with
Can we talk
quiet?
Can we talk about the fact that many people on social media are applauding the State House of Assembly for not being a rubber stamp?
We like that.
Because the idea before is we would, in some other states, Lagos State is not just the only, there are 36, there are 35 other states, and we've seen how some people, they'll bring their cousin, they'll bring, and everybody just gets approved. And people are happy that for the first time, or not even first time, this is not the first time, people are sort of happy that this is good. The House of Assembly is not a rubber stamp. They are allowed to, they are meant to be checks and balance. They have a right to question decisions. That's what they are doing.
I agree 100%. Yes. Now that you have questioned it and you have said that out of these people that the governor picked, 17 of them are not suitable. And out of that 17, some of them, I think most of them, I'm not sure, I'm not sure of the list.
All of them had served.
Had served in the previous administration. And you have to tell us, okay,
what did they do wrong? Okay, so I get that part, I agree.
This one chop money, that's why we can't. No, so then we will now say, oh, okay. Because we, from the outside looking in, for instance, Benga Motor Show, he was one of the most amiable information commissioners that I have come across. No, Motor Show.
Okay.
He was one of the, he will be there on the job. He will come and defend or give us information. He was always there. The education commissioner. See, from what I know, from what I read and what I saw, Maryam jumping up and down like a cockroach. She was doing her work. Today, Maryam will be in Badagry. Tomorrow, she will be in the Etios.
So education, we saw the education. So here is the thing.
Now let me finish.
No,
let me finish.
We have to
finish. Let me finish. So if there is something that we don't know, because we that were outside looking in,
I'm agreeing with you, YK.
We are questioning the decision. We're not saying it's not good not to be a rubber stamp, but this one is now looking like vendetta.
Okay. So I agree with you that they should qualify the reason for the disqualification in detail.
Yes.
What was the reason? But is politics not an enough reason? So Lagos State actually almost lost the election in the governorship election last election. And they almost lost. Like the presidency, they lost. Yes, and the governorship they won. But the people felt like it was hanging until many campaign happened.
Do we want to talk about the factors that led to this?
No, we cannot talk about all of it. But I'm talking about the political.
Yes, now politically, what we saw was a new party and a new person and a new ideology. We cannot use that. It changed politics.
We know
it for a long time.
Let me land the question so that we understand the perspective I'm trying to bring in. Many politicians within the political structure feel that it is because we did not have enough politicians in position of power to parley with the people, to galvanize people, is why it looked like there was a lot of gaps within the political structure of Lagos State. Even the speaker mentioned it when he was talking. The speaker said that politics is the gathering of people with the intention to hold on to power.
Yes.
That was what he said. He said, and so how can we do this if we are just bringing in technocrats? The conversation now became a case of we have technocrats within the party system and we must find a way to bring them. YK, you have been talking a lot. We need to hear other people. Let me hear from you.
Yeah, so I guess... Okay. So even if we allow everybody in Lagos talk, we'll probably be saying the same things.
Which
so
is?
I like what you said about nobody should assume is a right. Is my father's what is it now? This position I was here before. I have to come back. So nobody should just assume it's just normal that way. So we must see reasons why this person should fit into this position, and in seeing reasons, it must be transparent. We're asking for transparency. Don't ask us to trust you when you're not communicating. Don't ask us to trust you when you feel the reasons are best known to you and they'll be serving us. So there must be a proper handshake. Let people have a say in this government. I mean, it's supposed to be democracy in the first place.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm going to say also from outside looking in, Lagos has never been a rubber stamp, whatever. Never. I mean, over many years, we always hear the drama and everything, the intrigues, the politicking happens within Lagos. You know, everybody is watching Lagos, so we can never say that they have that. I just want to make a few comments about some of the things that were raised. The religious part, I do not believe that it's a religious issue. Because it's Lagos State, and Lagos State has never put someone's religion above anything. It has never been a Lagos thing. When you come to Lagos, you just see how everybody is it's never about religion. And especially as a party, we can, I do not believe that the APC will put religion as anything, since we even have a president that is Muslim and a vice president that is Muslim. So we already understand that working together based on experience, based on qualification, based on contributions. Now, concerning losing political, the states because of how politics ran the last time, I think it would be unfair to put it on maybe technocrats not doing their part. A lot of things changed the last election.
There were a lot of factors.
Yes, we had a lot of factors. We had a new party, we had a new person or a new ideology, and that affected it across board. And I just feel that we're using that in this case to make it about the technocrats. If the technocrats, and political parties need to understand that technocrats can do their jobs and politicians can do the job of maintaining the power and holding on to the power, so that those that can do the job of developing Lagos continue to do that. And I feel that that marriage is what has worked for Lagos State, and they shouldn't do anything to destroy
that. I take it that YK agrees with Maryam as final statement, because we are rounding off.
Please, before you round off, I just wanted to say the Muslim thing, or the Muslim, I looked at that list and I did not know who was Christian or who was Muslim or who was a traditionalist in that list. I did not see it, and I did not. So them bringing it to my attention makes me question competence. One, it's not even factor. Two, I was going to say that they're talking about they lost the technocrats did not politic with them, or I'm hearing that. I'm not saying they talked about. You can't rush me unless they take us off by force by fire. they're talking about.
The technocrats didn't bring
that I don't think that's their job. Their job is to do the work that they were given,
irrespective of.
And then the politicians do their work. What they should now look for is a symbiotic relationship between the technocrats and the politicians.
Thank you so much, YK, for your contributions on the show today.
Thank you.
We appreciate your feedback. I think that Lagosians generally just want good governance.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we're a bit worried about what the next 3+ years would look like. If there's actually a rift between the governor and the speaker, it is worrisome. But
is it 3 years or 4 years? It's 4 years.
Almost 3+. They've already served time. YK, we have come to the end of this part of the show. We have a guest waiting for us.
It's not
easy to host the show with YK opposite. Like, YK, you make life wonderful. We'll take a break. When we return, we will continue with our guests on Let's Talk.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. Joining us on the show is an airline captain and the first African pilot to fly solo around the world in a single-engine light aircraft, Captain Ademilola Oyewale Odunjirin. He'll be speaking on the task placed in front of the new aviation minister, but we are just farming the fact that he put Nigeria on the map and he's been doing amazing things in the aviation space positively. You can join the conversation by calling us on 0810-764-1679. Breath of fresh air. It's good to leave that other conversation and come here. So a round of applause for, yeah, let's just please. Yeah.
You're welcome, even though my body is still hot.
From the hot topic, but we're happy to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Honestly, we're supposed to discuss with you about Festus Keyamo having a son, being our Minister for Aviation, what your reactions would be. But first, I want to find out, why did you decide to do what you did? Like a bit about yourself. Yeah.
Right, okay. So I'm just like any other regular kid out there that had a dream. And I think most kids, most dreams end up in the Third Mainland Bridge sometimes. They don't get to see the light of day. The only difference was I was very tenacious, very resolute, and I just pursued my dream irrespective. So my dream was very simple. I wanted to fly, become a pilot. And everyone told me how I couldn't. They told me every reason why I couldn't be a pilot, including my nose. Oh, look at your nose. It's a flat nose. You can't be a pilot. Because the world has a perception of what a pilot should look like. You know, and what a pilot should, you know, where you should come from. So I'm a first-generation pilot in my family. Second-generation pilots, they've paved the way for you because dad was a pilot, so automatically, they don't even call you by your first name. They say, oh, that's Shego's son. Yeah. In the workplace, oh, that's Shego's son, you know. So I didn't have it that easy. I had my work cut out. So I was just like any other regular kid that had a dream and pursued that dream. And here we are, a couple of years later.
You flew around the world in a single... Where exactly did you go? Every part of the world, or just...
Yeah, so the way it works is you start from a particular spot, in my case, Washington, D.C., and I flew around the world back to the same spot, crossing the equator at various points and touching on at least 5 continents. So there's a prescribed, if you like, a prerequisite that you have to fulfill. And then.
Did you feel safe up there?
He's a pilot. He's safe up there.
No. For many people that have the fear of flying, to see people just take that sort of risk.
Yeah. So statistically, as we know, flying is the safest mode of transportation, and that's because of all the enormous training that pilots go through. A plane is designed to take off from the ground. A 2-engine aircraft is designed to take off from the ground, fly in the air, and come back to land on 1 engine. So if I was flying along and I lose an engine, I just ask for a cup of coffee, because then I could concentrate and bring the plane back down safely. So that's how aircrafts are designed, commercial aircrafts. The obvious risk in my case was I've only got just 1 engine.
That's what I was
So if that went off, it's like, okay, now, bye. So the way to mitigate against that is you fix the engine, you recondition it, make sure all your parts are working fine. And
all right.
Yeah.
So I need to bring you back to the reason we brought you here. And it is because we want to talk about the Nigerian aviation sector.
Right.
We want to talk about the fact that we have a senior advocate now as our minister. And I want to get your view on that part first. What do you think?
Well, it was a bit of a surprise to most people, I think. But I think I still haven't seen a school for presidents or school for ministers. So if there was, then you could say, yeah, you know, but I still think it was a little bit of a surprise, because you'd expect sometimes to have a subject matter expert in charge of certain industries. Aviation is a very, very technical, and there's a direct correlation between aviation and the GDP of any prosperous nation. So it's not a joke. And the state of the Nigerian aviation as well. He's coming into the office with a lot of issues. The list goes on from fuel to infrastructure to you name it. So he has his work cut out, is all I'm going to say. He has his work cut out.
So we'll say here we find ourselves here. He's not a aviation person, but this is Nigeria and this is where we find ourselves.
Right.
If we're supposed to give him like some sort of guidance, what would you say his first 100 days should look like?
What task would you want him to
tackle first? So I honestly think his learning curve would be so steep. The first thing I would do if I were him is to surround himself with the right people. Yeah, because he's a SAN. It's like me trying to be the Chief Justice of Nigeria. It's,
The way you put it.
you know,
I'm glad you went there because I wanted to ask you, who do you think would have made a better, what kind of profession do you think would have made a better aviation minister? Because even the
that would
last
be a very
aviation
difficult
minister...
question for me. It's above my pay grade. The president, the honorable president of Nigeria has decided who is appointing, and you have to trust the system sometimes. However, it's now down to that person and the system to then look for help.
So you were going there. So like, who are the sort of people do you think you should surround?
He would definitely have administrative experience. And indeed, aviation has a lot of administrative elements to it. It's a combination of the technical side, the administrative side, the legal side. So he might actually help with the legal side because there are a couple of things like bilateral agreements which we're not utilizing. But that's down to the fact that we don't even have a national carrier. But not having a national carrier, not having a national carrier doesn't stop us from actually executing and taking advantage of our bilateral agreements. You don't have to have an aircraft or a national carrier.
Because of the ceremonial launch, Maryam, we know that we don't have a national carrier.
Exactly. And also, the lack of competition is why you and I and everyone else in this room would pay over the odds for a flight ticket.
Yeah. There are lots of issues within this space, but you know, but I really, I want to put you on the spot with one particular question. Who would you say in the past, let's say past 6 or past 4 ministers would be your favorite, who you feel was the best pick, that right from the selection, you knew this person understood the job?
For aviation?
Yes, for aviation.
You're putting me on the spot, right?
Yeah, the last...
none of them, to be honest.
There you go. None of them.
Okay, so what are your tasks?
I laugh in Chinese.
Okay, so Lola, thank you for, like she said, putting Africa in the world space. I mean, you've done well. And I have about 3 questions, but I'd like to put them in one. The first thing is, I'd like to know when you had this dream of flying, you know, as a child, was that your first choice of career? I want to become a pilot. The second is, since you're doing super well somewhere, you're in America now. What's your plan?
The UK, actually.
In the UK, okay. So what's your plan to see that we have some kind of aerospace university here? I mean, we can't continue to bring the best of brains, buy them and bring them into the country and have some of our good hands doing well in the UK, in America. Is it not possible to have an association of you guys that are doing so well come and do something about it? I mean, get involved in the government. This government has shown that they are doing everything they can to participate with private individuals to push the economy. So would you be willing to step in that regard?
There's something in the works with flight training and
that's good.
Development, which I'm involved with, but the announcement is going to come later. In answer to answer your first question, I first of all wanted to be a farmer. Yeah, so I was born in London. I grew up in Lagos.
Okay.
And I had chickens, I had birds, I had you name it. I was in love with animals, and I used to plant a lot. I used to plant beans, yam, everything. So I wanted to be a farmer. Then when I turned 10, I got into kites, and then I started liking aviation. When I was 14, I had the opportunity to fly with my uncle in Okada Air. And that was it. I got stuck. Oh. Yeah, I never looked back.
You flew in the cockpit?
I was in the so it was
nice.
in the days where flying in the cockpit was actually acceptable. Yes.
Okay, I wanted to go back to the aviation ministry, not the minister per se, but the industry, aviation industry. You know, someone like me, a novice like me, if you ask me, I would say our airports are not, I'm not proud of our airports.
Absolutely.
You know, where do you think he should start from? You have this quarrel with Air Emirates. Nigerians cannot go to Dubai. Emirates doesn't come to Nigeria. There's the fan collects toll.
Yes.
300 naira per car or per jeep. And I don't know how much per car, maybe 200 naira or something.
Maybe.
You know? And that's a lot of money. Why is that money not being put into good use for the airport? So where do you think he should start?
I I need to be very careful. I don't want to be political, but I think the elephant in the room here has been mentioned yesterday, yesteryears, will be mentioned today, will be mentioned in time to come. The elephant in the room is obviously corruption. So if we had a pyramid system or a triangle, that corruption sits at the very top of everything. The next thing is the willpower. Because size doesn't matter. We're the giants of Africa, right? Look at Rwanda. Look at Ethiopia. Ethiopia exports aviation just like Nigeria exports crude. So it's the willpower of the powers that be is a reflection of our state of the aviation industry. I'll give you an example. So I've been flying, I operated out of Lagos for many, many years. And there's a procedure we do at Murtala Mohammed International Airport. You come with your aircraft, you must have seen this, experienced this. And then they shut down the engine and the pilot would announce, everyone stay seated, because they have to physically pull the aircraft forward. That procedure has been going on for years. And the solution to it is so simple.
I didn't know that was what usually happens.
What's the
I
solution?
know that.
What's the solution?
Well, things like the air bridges need to be fixed properly to accommodate big aircraft, guidance system, like it's done all across the world. But someone is taking this money and just obviously not doing the job year after year after year.
Wow.
So, I mean, come into the terminal building, it stinks sometimes, with all due respect.
We know.
The power cuts, everything. There's a lot of infrastructure deficiency and customer service as well. I remember coming in and someone said to me, I was, coming through the crew section and they saw my green passport. I went, no, get away from here. Take the other side. And I was like, oh. So Nigeria is the only country where you come in as a national and you take 3-4 times longer than a foreigner to get through immigration.
True.
Yeah.
And you have to go through 3 different channels. Now, all that could be put into one simple solution. Banking industry, telecoms industry in Nigeria has proven to us nothing is impossible in this country. So there's nothing stopping us bringing your biometric passport, putting it into a machine, smiling at the camera, the door open, and off you go.
We're going to lose employees, employment opportunities.
But then you throw the employment opportunities and the other guys that do the run the show.
So can I?
You will lose, but gain.
Yeah.
No, I was just sounding for sake of saying.
Okay, I get
No,
you.
I was being sarcastic because that's what they would say that,
I
oh,
get
you're
you.
going to lose people's employment.
Because you can stand on that queue for an hour.
Yes,
No, that wasn't even what he was saying.
frustrating.
That one is coming in. The queue for going out, the AC is not working, and all those stuff that we can talk about infrastructure and be here for ever discussing it. I would like her to get in a question.
Okay, so Lola, tell us one big issue that we've had to face in the last almost 2 years. I remember there was a time in the year 2016 where we're doing 5,000, you're going to Abuja, it's 5,000, you're going to Kaduna. I grew up in Kaduna, so I go a lot.
Yes,
10,000.
correct.
But now, going to
I mean, I've flown
Kaduna,
you, by the way.
going to Kaduna now is about, if I go to the airport today, I will probably pick a ticket for 100, 120.
Correct.
And I don't know, is this how it is in other countries? Why are the
Negative.
tickets negative?
No,
So
negative.
what's wrong? What has happened? Why are the rates increasing on,
I think the biggest contributing factor to that is the fuel price. So about 5-6 years ago, I was still operating in Lagos in 2016, and fuel price was around $200 per litre, something like that.
Okay.
Now it's around 1,000, if I'm correct. Please don't quote me. But I know it's quadrupled in price in about 5 or 6 years.
Wow.
And the obvious thing is the exchange rate is not helping because you buy crude in dollars, right? And look at what's happened to the exchange rates. The biggest operating cost to any airline is the fuel price, the fuel cost, and then the staff salaries. So if your biggest operating cost is off the roof, then your prices goes off the roof.
Typical.
So, going back to the minister, because right now you gave us a bombshell saying that none of our ministers in the past 4 ministers would cut it for you as for being able to effectively drive it. Now we have another person who is obviously not an industry expert in the things of in the part of aviation, and he's going to be there for the foreseeable future. What would you say, out of the myriads of challenges that we are facing within that sector, would be your top 3 tasks for him to handle?
I think the first one would be definitely infrastructure. and get into the roots of the problem with the likes of Emirates not being able to come in. That would ease the pressure on the populace because ticket prices are just extraordinarily high. And then the third most important one, it's actually very serious, this one, is to somehow get us to utilize some of our bilateral, some of the bilateral agreements in place. And that's not hard. You don't have to have a national carrier to actually
Get that done.
get that done. You know, you can look for an ACMI company, aircraft crew maintenance and insurance company. Arik, I know, used to do that before through another company. There are ways in which you can do it. So, and what bilateral agreement means is for every aircraft that comes in from the UK, let's say, Nigeria has the right to have an aircraft from Nigeria to the UK, and it's vice versa. So if the UK has 10 aircraft coming in, Nigeria should be able to have 10 aircrafts going. You know.
So I have this question. It's not, I'm not putting you on the spot for a particular person now or
Right.
a name, but just maybe qualifications. What sort of experience, qualifications would you like to see in someone that should lead the aviation sector, and given the state that we're in now, and why those qualifications, would you say?
And to add to that, do you think pilots would make good aviation ministers?
That's a good question. Sometimes not really. Pilots are technocrats. We're very technical people.
Operational.
Very operational. We follow the scripts. We're like, you know, robots sometimes. So a good blend of someone who has a bit of operational background and also technical background helps.
So would you be saying like a pilot who has done?
Yeah, like someone that's a pilot who's in management, who has obviously...
Someone from NAMA,
yeah, someone who has, you know, a good blend of, you know, office. Because if I'm a management pilot, I would fly only like 15 to 20% of the time. The rest of it, I'm actually managing an airline. So managing an airline is similar to managing the industry because it's just on a bigger scale.
Yeah.
Because you're managing, to run an airline isn't easy.
Yeah.
You know, you're managing everything from aircraft acquisition, staff, you know, it's a huge, complex.
Let me, because we're almost out of time, I want to throw in this like 3-in-1 question. We have a challenge with the airports in terms of security. We have a lot of touts, activities of touts and miscreants within our airport. You see, especially within Lagos, they clamp down on your cars and you're wondering, is it an official or a tout that is clamping down on your car? Like you really can't, it takes you a while to... How do you feel like we can address the issue of security where a new, there was a new equipment, the guiding...
ILS.
The ILS,
the
yes,
PAPIs,
was
the
just...
precision approach system.
Was just
when
put
it
in
left.
place.
Yes, and
it was stolen.
Yes.
So we have a security challenge, we have tout challenge. How do you think the minister
That
can
hit
address
global
this?
news, by the way, because I remember my colleagues saying to me, "Oh, you seen this in Lagos?" I was like, "Yeah."
As it will just make you feel terrible, like negative news in your country. But
Well,
please.
I think you've touched on something very serious. Again, how did anyone get through the security of the airport to actually make it through and start ripping out lights and system without being
Can you
caught?
imagine?
Yeah.
Without anybody seeing
Yeah.
you and catching you.
So again, can we put that down to corruption, or you know, what is it?
Well, but you know, let's assume that someone like you were qualified to be a minister or something, and then or a aviation commissioner or something, and then the governor looked at you and said, you know what? The House of Assembly will reject you because you're a technocrat.
YK.
I have a question.
And you haven't have party people.
Yes, correct.
She has taken us back.
YK. Go ahead, Maryam.
So we have a question from a viewer. Says that
Right.
Adi Baptist says that, what do you think we can do to improve competition and customer service / welfare? I mean, elsewhere, once you delay a flight, you get compensation.
Correct. So there's something called EU 261, which means for if you delay a flight for more than 3 hours or so, depending on the distance, there's a scale of how much compensation you pay the people. Again, these are things that the Nigerian ministry, aviation ministry, could put in place
place.
to actually make airlines work more efficiently. So if I was, not being funny, I've flown around the world, I've worked in different places. If I was to grade our operational efficiency right now, it'll be very, very low. We're not utilizing all the, you know, facilities, and
Sadly.
we're not.
That's all we can take on the show today. Aviation industry directly has a GDP. The better we get with our aviation industry, there's a direct correlation with our GDP. People would want to come in, tourism would boom, all businesses will thrive with a good aviation industry. So I understand the importance of this, and we're wishing the new Minister for Aviation all the best as it takes on this huge task. That's what we can take on the show today. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you, YK, for doing what you usually do. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.